You've probably heard bits and pieces. That the Irish were once slaves, that the IRA were terrorists, that Ireland's struggle is over, and that history's been settled. But what if I told you almost everything we were taught about Irish history was shaped by someone else's lens, and that some of the most painful parts were intentionally left out? Chapter 1. Were the Irish ever slaves? Let's start with the most controversial topic, Irish slavery. In the 1600s, tens of thousands of Irish men, women, and children were forcibly sent to the Caribbean and the Americas as indentured servants. They were often prisoners of war, political rebels, or simply poor, and they were sold into contracts that lasted 7, 10, even 20 years. Many were worked to death, some were whipped, women were raped, children were separated from their families. Was it chattel slavery like what African people endured? But was it brutal, degrading, and forgotten by most historians? Absolutely. And here's the thing, acknowledging Irish suffering doesn't erase black suffering. It helps us understand the scale of exploitation during empire and how the British system dehumanized so many in different ways. Chapter 2. The Making of a Myth. Who writes Irish history? For decades, Irish history was taught through a British lens. Stories of famine were softened into natural disasters. The violence of colonialism became civilizing missions. Rebellions were criminalized, rebels were terrorists. And so, when we talk about groups like the IRA, it's no surprise how the label terrorist stuck. It's the language of power. Chapter 3. IRA, terrorists or freedom fighters? Let's talk about it. The IRA, yes, they used violence. Yes, civilians died. And no, we're not here to glorify or justify bloodshed. But if you only know the IRA through British tabloids or Hollywood films, you're missing the context. You're missing the gerrymandering, the military checkpoints, the mass internments without trial, the civil rights marches being attacked, and the decades of systemic discrimination against Catholics in Northern Ireland. To many, especially in working-class nationalist communities, the IRA were defenders, the only ones standing up when the state failed them. For every bomb or bullet, there was a story behind it. A child beaten by soldiers, a family whose home was raided at 3 a.m., a mother who never saw justice for her murdered son. When people feel unheard, resistance takes shape in different ways. Some pick up signs, others pick up arms. Chapter 4. The Silence Around Suffering. Irish history is soaked in suffering, but the silence around it has lasted even longer than the trauma. From the Irish slaves on sugar plantations, to the 1 million dead in the famine when food was still being exported, to the executed rebels of 1916, to the hunger strikers in 1981, these aren't just footnotes, they're the foundation of who we are. Chapter 5. Why this matters today. Why does this matter now? Because history isn't just the past, it's power. The stories we remember shape the people we become. And if we only hear one version, we never really know ourselves. Irish people weren't just victims or rebels. We were writers, teachers, fighters, poets, and every time someone tried to erase that, we found a way to write it back. This isn't about rewriting history, it's about finally telling it fully. The good, the bad, and the buried. So next time you hear the word terrorist or see a part of Irish history left out of the textbook, ask yourself, who benefits from the silence? And what else have we not been told? If this moved you or made you question what you thought you knew, please like, share, and subscribe. This is just one piece of a bigger story, and there's so much more we need to uncover together.